This is the Forum Entrepreneur Mastermind with your hosts, Dr. Paul Benson and the special guest of the week. Delving into the principles, tricks, and tips that take entrepreneurs to the next level of success. Here with Josh Hawks today, and I've been working with Josh for how many years now?
Jeez. I don't even know. 8 maybe? I don't
Probably
know.
something
8 to
like
10,
that.
something like that, yeah.
We've done various coaching things, businesses together, and it's been fun over the years. And now we're doing the forum, where he's a big part of the forum. So it's good to have you here. And why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
You bet. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, it's crazy, like, how fast time flies by. You know, like, just talking just a few minutes ago about things. And, like, 8 to 10 years, I used to think, like, wow, like, I don't know, it just feels like time just goes faster and faster and faster. And so, yeah, I'm Josh. I married, have 4 boys. Been married for almost 16 years. And we love adventures. We love going to different places and experiencing life and seeing weird, crazy stuff. Like, I love going to places and be like, what the heck is that? Why are people doing that? And
What's one of the craziest things you've seen? Tell me.
Right.
Tell us something crazy.
Some of the stuff too. A couple years back, my wife was turning 40. Oops, I probably shouldn't have saved my wife's age. Sorry about that. She was turning a certain age, and we went over to Japan. We'd never been over there before, and she worked for the airlines, and we were able to experience. We went and got first class to go from the United States all the way over there to Japan. It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had, right? Just being there with my wife, experiencing that. But going to that culture over there is so different. Like, just the food, just everything in the smallest little hotel room I've ever been in my life. Like, smaller than this little couch area. Like, they put the bed down on the floor. You can barely get to the bathroom. You get to everything like that, too. And I'm like, how do these people live like that? And it was awesome. Like, what is there, 14 or 16 million people on that little island of Tokyo?
Where do they keep their stuff?
Yeah. And they just go up. They just, like, build up. They go higher, 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 and these little tiny little things. And I'm like, how do people do this kind of stuff? And I'm fascinated by it. And not to judge. I don't judge anybody. I don't care what anybody does. And I'm like, but it's fascinating to me. So I love traveling. I love that type of adventure. And I love to, like, invite my boys to go and experience that kind of stuff. To be like, wherever we grow up is kind of what we're used to, but it's so good to go and, like, experience something different. So anyway, that's kind of like the adventure and travel stuff that we enjoy to do. And we like sports, outdoor stuff, four-wheeling, camping, that kind of stuff.
So that's kind of your life.
Yeah.
On the business side, since we're here, you've always had your main job, and then had various entrepreneurial activities you've involved in.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about some of the ventures you've done over the years and what you're doing now.
You bet. You know, it's fun. My whole life, I've always liked to help people. I've always been in the social work field, whether it's been with troubled kids, probation officer stuff. I owned a probation company even, so that's kind of entrepreneurial stuff. But right now I currently work with kids with disabilities, which has been awesome. Like, that teaches me a lot of awesome things and great things. But I've always liked to do stuff on the side, to kind of go and always that same mindset of how can I help more? And I truly believe that's what business is. Like, how can I truly serve other people, help people, but also get the value back? That's what I'm trying to learn more about, right? It's easy for my mindset to always, like, give. But I always have to remember, too, like, to have good mentors like you that reminds me, too, but that value has to be returned, too. Right. So I'm learning more about that you've reminded me different things, too. Like, you can give, but you also have to have enough still in the tank to be able to give, but also, too, to be able to receive certain things, too. So that's helped me. So I've done different things, like a probation company, a travel company a while back, and now I'm doing social media, which the whole thing is, for me, social media is just helping people.
Are you helping them create their business presence on their social media accounts, or what kind of social media do you do?
Yeah, just what you said. Yeah, whatever's really needed. Kind of some basic things, website stuff, lead generation, that kind of stuff. Whatever types of exposure that they need. And so that's been fun. I love learning about that because, like, I want everybody to succeed. I love the abundance mindset of everything. Like, there's enough for everybody in the world, I truly believe. And sometimes for people, we just don't know where to go or to know where our customers or people are at. We have no idea. So we have this great thing, but we have no idea how to get people to come see it.
Right.
And so it's like, it's fascinating to me because I'm still learning. I love to learn. I just love to be like, wow, how can I learn more about these kinds of stuff too? So it's like, whatever I can do to help them, I feel like I'm winning. So it's kind of fun.
So your current business is a business helping other businesses.
Correct. Yep.
I think that this is a super important topic to talk about the value we provide and receiving the value in return. Yeah. And that's what every business we do is. It's providing some sort of a value, and that value can be in our service that we give them, can be in products that we provide that help people in different ways or bring happiness or whatever, the experiences we can create. And all of that is value that we put out there, and sometimes we forget that we need to be compensated to stay in business.
Right.
And so what have you learned? And we've talked about this a little bit, as far as helping people understand your value so that they will reward you for providing it.
Man, Paul, that's a deep question for me. I'm still learning that, to be honest, right? Like, that's always an ongoing thing for me. For me, I've had to learn that the value's within me, right? Like, I have to see that within myself. So those are all the little things that I'm working on right now. So I have to be like, hey, I have to see that I provide a value and I deserve that value too, right? And the more that I give, the more that I can receive. So that's something that I'm truly working on. It's cool because I reached out to you about that not too long ago. It's like, what has helped you along the way too? So it's been good. And I think the principles we're learning in the forum and from you of, working on ourselves, doing these small little things to say, hey, my body's worth it, right? My mind's worth it. These types of things, I'm worth it. So if I'm going to put time and effort into something, like, we should be able to receive things, money, energy, that type of stuff too. So it's been fun. Like, that's helped me a ton. It all comes from within. So I'm trying to learn that a lot more.
That's cool. It really does start with, do I believe in what I'm providing?
Right.
Do I believe in myself? Do I believe that I am worth it and what I'm providing is worth it? Right. Some of the types of services that I provide, as an oral surgeon, it's very easy to say, well, there's other oral surgeons, they're charging this much.
Right.
This is the value for the service that I provide, and they could just put a dollar amount on it. Or the insurance company's even telling me what my worth is. And if I'm good at what I do, then I deserve to get paid that. Right. But sometimes with things like a service that you're providing with social media right now, you're looking at that and saying, well, how good am I at what I do? Right. What do I really deserve for what I'm putting out there? And that's something you have to determine within yourself. And you do have to be confident in it, because if you don't believe in the value you're providing, it's really difficult to ask to be paid.
Yes.
And so pretty soon you're offering free services to so-and-so, and you're giving people huge discounts just to get them on your books. Right. And then you're not making enough money to keep your business alive. Because we can't keep a business alive without that give and take.
Right.
So I'm glad that you're delving deep into yourself right now, and you're saying, I'm worth this.
Yep.
I love providing the service for others. Right. I see the value that I give. But the second part of this is, now you need to communicate the value that you give.
Right.
Because even if you believe it, you have to learn how to communicate that value back so that they believe it.
Right.
Because they don't know any better.
Right.
And some people will never see it. Some people are in constant sticker shock at the cost of things. And so you put it out there, let them know the value that there is, help them understand what they can get for it, and then this is how much it costs to get this value. And if they don't see that, then they're not your customer.
Right.
Have you ever heard this concept of, don't try to sell oranges to people that want apples?
Yes. Yep.
So tell me what that means.
Yeah. And I think that is a big thing on any type of business. Like, we could, if you're going into any situation and you're going to kind of put what you think that they want, more than likely you're probably going to be way off, right? And I think that's the biggest things, is really get to know and really ask questions. What are they truly wanting, right? Where are their pain points? what are they really frustrated about, right? What's really hard for them at that time?
Mm-hmm.
And if you really get to know, because I can assume, right? Oh, Paul's an oral surgeon. Oh, he has these types of things. Or he has this types of problems. But once again, if we assume on those types of things, we're probably off in a lot of ways. And I think that's where you can build rapport too, right? When you start asking questions, right? What kinds of things, and then you can relate to different things, right? And say, oh, because we're both entrepreneurs, that kind of stuff, you can relate on those types of stuff too, and be like, okay, I can see where some of those pressures are. I can see where some of those frustrations come from, and really get out of them. Like, what are they really needing at that point?
So you're asking your clients the questions to help to really understand.
Yep.
I think it's also helpful after you ask the questions to respond back to see if you understood.
Right.
So you're saying this,
right.
Because even then we can make assumptions based on what they said that could be off.
Very true.
And so that communication is huge. This month in the forum, we've been talking about building connections and strengthening connections, and really understanding our clients and understanding our business partners and getting on that same page requires that good communication.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
I could add on that too, Paul. I think it's awesome. I'm learning more about communication, right? And sales and that kind of stuff. And really, I learned too is listen 80% of the time. That's tough.
It's especially tough if both of you are trying to listen 80% of the time.
Right. Very good point.
So now we're just sitting here in silence 60% of the time.
That's right. I was never good at math, so I don't know how that all works.
Well, yeah.
But you think about that, right? Just listening for 80% of the time. You're like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But how important that is too, because like you say, like they'll tell you what's going on, right? If you listen. And I'm learning that too, and how important that is too, and asking those good questions. And like you said, is this what you're meaning? That kind of stuff.
Seek first to understand before you seek to be understood.
Right.
We're trying to talk all the time. Like even in this conversation now, I'm kind of thinking about what I'm going to say as you're talking to me. And so it gets tempting not to listen carefully.
Right.
And so it really is important to try to do that.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, let's shift gears just a little bit.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot in the past about the type of people you want to be in business with, and especially not necessarily the clients we want to work with, but the people we want to work with on that higher level.
Right.
And I'd like to hear, we've talked about this a number of times,
Sure.
I'd like to hear it from you in this setting about the type of people that you want to work with.
Yeah. That's a great question. The types of people that I want to surround myself with are people that are striving and bettering themselves, right? The last couple of years, I've been kind of having my own personal journey, trying to better myself. Now I'm getting in my 40s, and I'm starting to figure things out a little bit, maybe, and trying to see, what does this all mean, right? And I never noticed, because I used to work with, like you say, with troubled kids and people on probation and different things. And I would always tell them, say, hey, one of the biggest things is who you surround yourself with, right? I'd always say that. It's easy, right? Because these people were here, they were stuck, they had to come see me every month.
Yeah.
They didn't like seeing me most of the time, right? And I'm like, how important that is to go and surround yourself with people. But think about that. I'm like, well, why is it important for everybody else but not me?
Yeah.
Like, of course it is. Of course that is, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I have to start surrounding myself with people that inspire me to do better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought about that. It was so easy to be like, oh, hang around these type of people from high school, or people in your church, or people or whatever, and activities or like sports or different things. But I'm like, wait a minute, I can control who I surround myself with.
Yeah.
And I had a mentor that says, well, maybe you won't understand, right? Like with work or different things. And he's like, if it's that big of a deal, get a different job.
Mm-hmm.
Start your own business. Start doing different things. And I'm like, but my old mind said I couldn't figure that out, right? So I love that question, because now I'm very deliberate in where I put my time and effort and who I want to be around, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's important to protect our mindsets, to protect ourselves, that kind of stuff. And that's why it's important, like the forum or the mastermind, to be like, hey, I want to be around people that want to better themselves. Yeah. We may be on different levels, and that's great. That's why I love it, right? Because I've been there at the very, very lowest, but I also want to have people too that, even a couple levels ahead of me, so that I can become those types of things. So for me, being around people that want to better themselves, that want like success for all of us, to have abundance, that it's not a competition, It's not oh wow, that person's better than me or that kind of stuff too. Like, I want somebody that has that abundance mindset. I want to be around that too, to say, hey, I can succeed. I can do those things too.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can in turn help other people too, to help them bring them up, help them do those types of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's two sides to that. There's the types of people that we don't want to surround ourselves with, and the people we specifically do.
Right.
Because there's people that I could say are constantly negative, pessimistic, downplaying my potential for success, just that negative energy.
Right.
Sometimes even people that I like just drain my energy. Yeah. That our conversations are draining, and I go needing a refresher.
Right.
Where other people, even though they may not be super successful, or have some of the outward signs of success, or that would make me want to be around them, but they do boost my motivation and my energy and make me feel excited to do my next, next effort. And so just the energy behind it sometimes is a huge indicator for me of who I want to surround myself with.
Absolutely.
And so, especially in the coaching side, when I'm mentoring people and helping them with their businesses, I find that if somebody's sucking the energy out of me, I don't even want their money. Like, I don't want to work with them.
Right.
As much I could like them as a person just fine, but I don't want to leave those sessions feeling drained.
Right, right.
And so I can have somebody that may not have a lot of experience, doesn't know a lot. They're not bringing me a lot of value from the standpoint of the knowledge I gain from them, but and I'm really the one giving them the knowledge a lot of the times, but the energy they bring makes me all excited to work with them. I can't wait to see them again, talk about their progress. And so I put a lot of emphasis on just that energy.
Yes, yes.
Then I look at how positive people are.
Yeah.
I love working with the dreamers. I love working with the givers. I love working with the people that see the good in the world, even though there's so much bad.
Right, right.
Because there's always a good and a bad side, and I sometimes probably look at the good side to a fault, but that is what keeps me motivated, makes me want to do better, and helps me be better at what I do. Yeah. And so I've even people that I would feel like I'm expected to be with, family and friends and people I've known for years, sometimes I've minimized the amount of time I spend with them for that exact reason. You've heard the principle that you're the average of the 5 people you're around the most, or maybe it's the 4 people you're around the most. So if you're around 4 millionaires, then chances are you're going to become a millionaire because you're going to learn those habits, you're going to become like them. Right. And even though we influence others as well, we really are influenced by who we're around. And so that is super important, to have the people that uplift you, the people that are doing the things you want to do, and becoming what you want to be. Right. So we've also talked about this specifically with the forum. We're building a group of entrepreneurs who are working together, teaching one another, helping each other to grow in our businesses and our personal life. And you've kind of given me some really specific thoughts about the type of people you want to work with in the forum. Right. So please share that with me.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's at the very first, the beginning of the forum, I'm like, man, I want to get some freaking rock stars. I want to get somebody that's like even so much better than me, right? I'm like, man, because I want to become that.
Love those people.
Yeah.
They teach me so much.
Yeah.
They give me ideas that I've never had otherwise.
Right.
So love those rock stars.
Yeah. So that's one of them. And also somebody that kind of does things a little different than me, right? I actually want to find somebody that has different thoughts and ideas than I do, which is different for me, right? Because it's easy to get people surrounded that you like are used to and that kind of stuff.
They're the yes men. They're always telling you that they agree with everything you say.
Right.
Like right now.
Right. Yes.
Because we have worked together so long, we have found that we do think a lot alike.
Right.
But you're looking for people that might have some different thoughts that can open your mind a little bit.
Which it's fun. It's fun for me to get challenged for those things, right? And actually have somebody that might, and I love it too, when I'm with you and you say, have you ever thought about that, right? You challenge me on some things, which is awesome. You challenge me on, if you're only going for those guys up high, what about some of these people that are down low, right? What about some of those people that are brand new? That's important too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not to eliminate everybody, but there's also people that need a chance that you talk about, right? They're just starting, they're just beginning their journey, and they're needed too. So not only can you be a mentor, but also you can also have other people too that want to come up, and you can see their potential and be like, man, those guys are awesome too.
Yeah, I have a huge passion for that because as entrepreneurs, that really is our goal.
Right.
The value we provide is the help that we're giving to people with our products and services. And so when I see these fledgling entrepreneurs that have dreams, goals, just not sure how to get them, I love working with them. They're so passionate. And so, that was one of the things I pointed out. You go for people that are helping you, but you would love to help people. Why don't you go to the people you want to help as well?
Right. And I have some of those. Like, I'm talking to some of those people. But I think another cool concept that I've been thinking about a lot is finding these people that challenge you, but also give you an inspiration too, right? To be able to say, hey, I want to become better, or to be like, what if? I love that word, what if. What if you can go do something else? What if we can do something different? Instead of the people that you go and interview, if their number one thing is always money, 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 that's a hard thing for me, right? I know money's part of it, but I want people that actually want to give value. I want people that actually want to have more than just my number one goal is money. But once again, that's the kind of value thing that we talked about earlier, to say, hey, like, I'm worth it, that kind of stuff. But I want people to have passion, but also have value to say, hey, not only am I doing a business, not only am I doing this forum, that kind of thing too, but like, I want to give, I want to receive, I want to be able to go and spread it to others. Because if money's the number one thing, like, I'm probably in the wrong place for me, right? That's just me. That's my opinion.
We want to work with people who are super passionate about their projects they're on, the services that they provide. They love their products. They love working with people, whatever it is, and that's their primary goal. Right. But for me, it's also important that they recognize what they need in return to be able to do it at a higher level. I had an experience when I donated some money to Save the Children in New York City. I met with the Save the Children CEO and the CEO of one of the cause marketing companies they work with. And I was meeting with them, and we were having this whole big event, and I got telling them about my cleft lip and palate surgery, the Lip Club, my charity. And I was telling them how I loved Save the Children because they were able to give almost 99% of every dollar to the children, and that it was so impressive. And I mentioned, it's difficult for me to do that because of my expenses. And they helped me understand something about money that I had never thought about before. They said, if you try to give 99% of everything you do to your charity will never grow. They said, the only reason that we're able to give 99% is because we bring in millions and millions of dollars, so that 1% covers our millions of dollars of expenses. But the only reason we're able to get there is because we treated this like a business, and we used the percentage we needed to keep in marketing and administration and paying our workers until we've reached to this point. He said, so don't focus on the lack. Build it like a business. You need to pay your people. You need to cover your expenses. And if only 30% is able to go to your cause in the beginning, the only way to get it to this point where it's only 1% going to your expenses is to get huge.
Right.
And so I apply that back into business in general. My business, my ability to help people cannot grow if I don't understand what it takes to get that value back. So I agree with you that the primary focus cannot be money, or should not be money. It should be in the value we're giving. But if we don't recognize what we need in return to keep doing it, then we will lose our ability to help.
I love that. It's true. And that principle, like you say, is it has to keep going. It has to give and receive, give and receive.
Yeah.
And that's so true. And I think that's so important that I remember that stuff too, because it's like, oh, because that's that growth. That's why I'm in the forum.
Yeah.
It is for growth. It is for be able to say, hey, I get that principle, but hey, I want to even go a little more. I want to get a little bit better. I want to grow. And that's another principle too, I think, of people that I want to come in. They have to have that growth mindset. Because look at all the little challenges, all the little things that we're doing in this, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it has nothing to do, we don't think it has to do with business, but in reality, it's everything of business.
How do you think our 22-day challenge applies to business?
More than anything, it's
Okay.
like, because it sucks. We purposely do things that suck. These things, it's not convenient. It's not easy.
Right.
It's not easy to go for a walk 30 minutes, even though you've already went to the gym that day.
Right.
It's not easy to go and write down, a list of your people or different things. It's not easy to go and read a book, even if you're reading something else. But that's where the growth comes from. So it's not because the program sucks. We do things.
Okay. I feel so much better.
Woo, woo. We can breathe through that one.
Yeah.
Because that's where the growth comes from. It's teaching us these principles of, if we're working on those other things, right, it's going to be the same thing with our business. There's going to be things coming along. Let's get better at these things that aren't as easy for us, or they can become easy too.
Right.
It's awesome. I love it. Like, that's actually my favorite part of it, actually, to be honest, because all these people want these gold nuggets or all these different things. That's where the gold nuggets are, Paul. That's where it really is.
Okay. People don't recognize that those little habit changers,
Right.
getting you out of your comfort zone, doing a little bit extra,
Yeah.
is improving your ability to do more.
Yeah.
And it's improving you as a person, which ends up applying to your business.
Yep.
So it really does make a huge difference in our lives when we're just try not to get comfortable.
Because if you get somebody, if you're thinking about, wow, is that person going to be good in the forum, right? But if they already know it all, if that's their attitude, right? If they've already done all of it, it's probably not going to be a good fit, right? You have to have somebody that has that growth mindset. You have to have somebody that says, wow, I want to go to the next level, wherever I'm at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it could be in our relationships. It could be in our health. It could be in our, our mindset, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's, I truly believe, is the key. Like, that's where I've seen changes in my own life that gives me courage to go and start a business again.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did social media a couple years back. I don't know if you even knew that.
I didn't know that, yeah.
And what happened was I had to learn. I had to fall on my face, right? And to be able to say, wow, that wasn't a good fit, right? But now it's the right timing because I'm ready for it. Mm-hmm. I'm doing these things to better myself, to say, hey, I can go do some of these hard things.
Yeah.
I can go put myself out there. I can go do some of these things I get uncomfortable with. And it's fun. Now it's like, cool, I can better myself every month on this stuff. I have these cool little challenges, 22 days, to go and better myself. And that just helps me to become better as a business owner, better as a father, better as a husband, those types of things too. And it's starting to make more sense for me. It's starting to feel better.
You've had a whole big year and a half of growth.
Yeah.
And your focus has changed a lot in that time.
Big time.
It's been great to see. Like, I've always loved working with you. I've always enjoyed our friendship and our camaraderie, but it's great to see you stepping up to a new level in your personal life and your business life. And I'm excited for what we have in the years to come.
Me too. It's fun. So it's an adventure. I've always appreciate you more than you realize, Paul. That's what's cool. Like, business is business. But I think as a man, sometimes, I'm saying for myself, we always think of business might be like that big, huge thing, right? Like, but if you're spending 80, 90% of the time on that one business, what about all the other aspects of our lives, right? Mm-hmm. How can we get more balance in this kind of stuff? And that's what I'm learning in the forum. That's what I'm learning too, being around people like you and other entrepreneurs to say, hey, business is one aspect of it, but you also have all the other aspects of things too.
Building on the friendship side, building on our family time, making sure that we're not neglecting those other parts of life that are why we do business.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can have more time with our family. Mm-hmm. So we can enjoy those moments. We were talking about earlier about being in the moment. Man, that's so tough to do. Even in the moment in business. Mm-hmm. We're in the moment when something sucks. Yeah. Okay, I still need to be in that moment, right? I can still be there, but then also too, so we can be in the moment with the things that we enjoy. Yeah. So I'm not always worrying about this business part when I'm with my family or wife, that type of stuff too, that like all of it's all part of it too. And it's fun. Because a lot of times when I was doing business, it was by myself. I felt like I was by myself. Yeah. But now I have a group of people to say, whoa, you're going through the same thing? You're still frustrated or overwhelmed with stuff?
Bounce ideas off.
Yeah. It's freaking awesome. Yeah. And so it's fun to be like that. We're more similar than different,
Yeah.
you know, and it makes it fun to be able to be a part of that. So it's been fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me here today,
Yeah,
Josh.
appreciate
we look
it.
forward to seeing you next time we get together with our group,
Great.
and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us today on the forum. Don't forget to subscribe and message us for the chance to hear your story and share your insights with our Army of Entrepreneurs. See you next week.